say it's lower rates and more favorable terms for you than it would be
Yes.
me going out and saying, I need $22 million.
And it's we're gonna actually get the work done, like it's gonna, not just piecemeal, right? We're not just putting Band-Aids on, we're actually fixing and solutioning. And I think that's an important thing to point out as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody else?
My question is, and I'm just here to make everybody aware, he was talking about not having water, not having enough water. I've been without water since January 12th at 3 different times for a total of 17 days. The tank just on the next ridge over from where I live high up on the hill. And when I called about the problem of not having water, I've had 4 inline pumps to get run out because of the water going out. I have every contraption possible on my pump now to prevent that. But it has to get to a certain pressure in order to pick up that water from the meter. I was told that the only responsibility the water company has is to get water to my meter. That has not been happening, and that's the reason that I've been without water. Are you going to stick with a set amount of gallons of water to buy every month from, say, Garland Water or whomever? Or will you increase that so that, and it's not just been me, it's been my neighbors. They've not had water pressure, they've not had water. Some have had pencil springs, some have had none. And it's been a problem for us up on the hill. And what we learned is that the tank wasn't full enough to push the pressure up to us. So that's my reason for asking, will you add more gallons of water to the system or leave it set at what it is?
Well, operationally, there's a volume of water, but it sounds like what you're dealing with too are just the topographical challenges, so forth. And again, we have a lot of experience in, particularly West Virginia, with this, not as much in Kentucky, but we use the same folks. And so we'll do everything, that we can to be sure that somebody is not able to tell, in the very near future that we will be already been through that. It's a tough thing, but we would like the opportunity to try to figure that out and make it a better situation for you and people that are in that situation.
Thank you.
You know, look into making your own water, so that can back to from everything, and if you did, well, that lower the rates, you get more you like, or you like the spread.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rates will affect this month right now.
Yeah.
For production.
There goes up, there's a lot of money goes out, just buying water from
Yeah,
three
and
different.
a lot of water.
Yeah, and you use a lot of water.
So when we lose that water, I think if we can also help with the loss, we can no longer have that loss.
Be a future long-term thing, depending on how many, kind of customer base that we're ready to establish in the area.
But it also helps, to his point too, of just revitalization or keeping businesses here and keeping people happy.
Then if you focus on the people that cherish the Airbnb, $400,000 parks and stuff, you got people that live here, you need to focus on them more than you do visitors coming in the county. You know what I mean?
A lot of that can be corrected with water loss. When you have 50 and 60% water loss, that's gonna allow that tank that she's talking about on Ranger Road to go to that 40th foot or above, and then that's when she has water. So you have to maintain that tank, and it's just like you said, it's topographical. That's the problem with that, because some of the homes are lower, they're actually above the tank level, and so you have to raise that tank elevation to get that water to those homes, or to their meters actually. And that's hard to do because of the water loss.
Yeah. So, with what Jake was saying about the Airbnbs, I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I have a couple of people that's come in here and rented them to ride, and they didn't have no water, and they got drunk and trashed the place because they didn't have nowhere to take a shower. But also, how long will this sale take to complete? And who actually decides the sale of B-Mud? Who is the main person, you guys, or is it one person or a vote or what?
That's a board decision.
Huh?
That would be a board decision.
Board decision?
We vote on by these 4 members.
Okay. Just 4? What if it's a tie?
Good question.
It's actually voted on by 3.
Oh, okay.
And Kyle breaks the tie.
Got you. Okay.
In terms of the timeline, we talked about that, so.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of answered my questions earlier.
I'll obviously say it again, see, it depends on, if we have something signed by mid-March, then it can be, once the two of us go to the PSC file, PSC has no more, they have no more than 4 months to respond.
Okay.
They can respond and ask questions, but they have to give us an answer within 4 months. So
Okay.
technically, because we tied off the bill by the end of this year,
We say they have 60 days, but they can extend by 60 days, and they're awfully busy.
So-
So we just say 4 months.
So would you guess within a year's time, these gentlemen will be working for American Water?
Hopefully by, we could get.
Oh,
yeah,
glorious.
sometime maybe late fall. If everything goes.
And just to speak to your concern, absolutely, it's households first.
yes.
I mean, that's it. What I was speaking to is, I don't know if I can live in a house that had water for half a month.
Right.
So that needs to be stabilized first, and you can't grow into any kind of business if you can't stabilize household water. If you can't stabilize water, that's a very basic necessity on this planet. If you can't stabilize it for a house, you can't, yeah, you absolutely can't talk to a business and they.
Yeah, you can't even-
Oh, well, that sounds good, but McDonald's is not gonna come in if they don't have water. Nobody's gonna show up if you have such intermittent water loss. And again, this is nothing towards you. You are doing everything you can on the planet, I know you have. At some point, I mean, if you handed me a 76 Chevette, I could probably maneuver through it and fix about everything on it. If you hand me a 747, a Boeing 747, I'm lost, right? I mean, it's
Austin can
overwhelming.
fix it.
I mean, you're talking about the miles and miles and miles of line that you all have to deal with. It can be overwhelming.
It's over 100 miles.
540 miles a line.
540 miles.
I can change the water heater in my house, I can't deal with 540 miles of line. There's just, so it's not a knock against anyone, it's just trying to sort of basic sanitation of something. You have that electricity, water, I mean, these are things you just have to have.
And
consistently.
we can, obviously, we're capable of it, we need that $20 million. I mean, and that's the big thing, is you don't, that $20 million is not coming from you all.
We don't have it.
The county doesn't have it. We're not, obviously, not able to bring in $20 million of revenue to be like that, except American can.
Right.
That's the big deal. With $22 million, you could probably fix it, except for that.
You swear that, right? You do a lot of things with $22 million. Right. But
I'm a resident in one of the most problematic areas. I'm also not a dairy farmer, and I live in the Walls area, but I'm also chairman of the school. And we've had, and again, these fellows, we work well with all these guys. And they took over a system, that was problematic from the get-go when it was built in the late 80s. But we got to a point that we were about to invest in 2 water trucks, because we don't want a long-term facility using one of those, so that we wouldn't have to have some of these early dismissals. And it's kind of a double-edged sword for us, because if we, Kentucky's one of 6 states that still funds off ADA after their attendance. So if we have part of the community out, even when we have school, it's a negative for us, but we want to have school, even like that, because we provide a lot of meals to children.
Yes.
So it puts us in a situation, and these guys have worked with us, again, I can't brag on enough, all of them. But, I'm so impressed with what you all just discussed this.
Well, we also want to do science fairs with you.
And we
We
just,
do lots of science fairs and school projects and help the kids with all the STEM and all the things.
I know the problem with raising 22 million, we can't do that here, as a school system, and I know you all can, so that's it.
I'll echo what I've heard several of you say about these guys. I mean, they've been very, very good to work with. I know it's just a tough situation, a lot to deal with, but we appreciate the cooperation. We just trying to take a look at this and about the option, so it's an option for the board now. We're open to whatever other questions questions or follow-up that we need to do.
Yeah. You all was talking about wanting to use some money to help the community. I know this is very early on going, but like maybe a slip and slide park or something for the kids, would that be possible or some, since it's water?
We've done, across, again, our footprint, a lot of splash parks, splash.
Yeah, something in that area.
A lot of local businesses, chambers of commerce, partner with them, partner with schools, science fairs, flash pads. We go on and on, we're just slow.
I've got a question. What about people who don't have water?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do about that?
He gets mad
I
at
mean, we don't have
meetings.
no water power, we don't have no water line.
On wells, that sort of
No.
thing.
He gets really mad at meetings too.
Storage tank, catch rainwater, haul water to it, fill it up, so we have water to flush the toilet. There's 12 houses that need water.
Your current deputy judge executive, Kobe Gant.
But I've talked to them, I've been here about almost a year now. Every month.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to get like the actual,
Just, that's something we're willing to have a conversation with.
yeah, we have to know where you are and see what we could, if we could do it.
Well, I'm sure Wood Branch Road.
Yep.
That's
Gotcha.
exactly where I'm at.
All right.
I mean, it's in Bledsoe area where it's at. Across the mountain. We got pumps, my neighbor's got one, so you don't have enough pressure. I can get water to my house, but there's not enough pressure, I put a water line in myself, I got the water line bought. He said I could put a pump in, just like it is right here, burn my pump, I need water. And I'm on fixed income, I can afford it.
That is a great question.
That is a great
We've talked about in broadband, kind of like that last mile.
Right.
So you're gonna run into some of that last mile, last dollar
Yeah.
situation.
This has been going on for about 12, 13 years.
James is focused on a lot of wastewater down there, and that's some of the things we contend with as far as, can we get that last, what's the cost for the last three
And I
houses,
think
the
that's
last two
something
houses?
we could also work with, like along with these gentlemen, figuring that out as part of the CapEx plan. and see-
Is that something that you've kind of seen before, as you maybe taken over a system in West Virginia? I know terrain wise, that's similar. Have you seen that before? I'm sure you've probably seen everything, yeah, but, to where it's,
And we did as much due diligence in this stage as we could, so now it's the
Yes.
next stage of figuring that out, but having someone actually say that, you know, speaking as a different.
okay.
I just spent 13, 14 years, I've lived in this house for 9 years with no water. I haul my water when I run out, and I used to work on the road, it was very hard to do that if you're young from home, your wife from home alone.
We're certainly willing to have, conversations to see what we just have to look at those. Usually when you get to those underserved areas, you're on a case by case sort of basis, because there's a unique set of things that each office is dealing with and the cost factor, but we're certainly willing to have conversations to see what is possible.
We walk up by the water line.
Would it be okay to say that it's, I'll ask this across the whole panel, would it be okay to say that it's probably more probable if you have the system in your ownership than if you keep the system in your ownership? Would that be something to say?
76, it was 60 miles there, so, I mean, so for every dollar that you're paying for water, you might as well go dig a hole and throw a dollar in it.
Yeah, I've got another one. It's directed towards these two gentlemen over here. I know how hard you guys work. Could you provide us how many hours your men's worked in the past 2 weeks? Is that possible? Because I know it's a lot. I know how much you guys have worked.
A lot.
Y'all even missed, a lot of y'all even probably missed the Super Bowl, right?
Which might have been a blessing.
Well,
I'll put it this way, payroll doubled in 1 week what it normally is,
yeah.
this last
You
week.
paid more overtime this past week than you paid base salary. You paid 400 hours of base salary and I think 388 hours of overtime.
You can't do that.
No, I got one more. I'm not done, but I'll be done in a second. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to give,
They have to have their other meetings, so we're trying to be
yeah.
mindful.
So when you guys come in, will you build a new place or will you just take over B-Mud's building or do both or what?
We'll
wouldn't happen overnight, it's just a matter of.
Yeah.
Long-term planning.
Yeah, I mean,
Things,
there's operations center, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's part of that.
Day one, obviously, we're working with what's here, the arrangements to keep the system functional.
And then slowly getting those things in place, and then prioritize with them as well. Like, we have our priority list, we've numbered it out, but is that, and there, do they agree? And then it would be somewhat of a figuring out.
Just out of curiosity, have you two been to Harlan or just looked on maps?
He's been here.
Okay. I've just never seen you two, but I see these guys. Okay.
Question, if everybody in the room is finished real quick. If I read the proposal correctly, it does not include the wastewater system, correct? You all would not be
Correct.
taking over the wastewater capacity.
The five,
Wastewater should.
okay, yeah. You guys have a grant for that
Yeah.
too, so,
We'll work on closing out that wastewater system before any of this stuff takes place.
yeah.
We didn't include it because we just didn't know enough about it, but we understood that there was a solution hopefully in place as well prior to our ownership, so.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question, when we talk through that, because FEMA would, as long as it still has that wastewater system, it would not, so.
Right, but I think we just said that we would try to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll try to, once we get the cluster system installed, then we'll probably revisit the PSC and figure out what they wanna do from there. And, yeah, as far as our ability to it and with the county and see kind of what direction they wanna go with these customers and,
Okay, we can talk that through.
yeah.
At a later date, but I just wanted to ask that question when I read the proposal, that it didn't include that.
Yeah, we're weeks, not months, from having the sewer system completed, so, I mean, I look for that to be closed up fairly quickly, and then we can start having those conversations with someone at the commission to see kind of what they want to do with the pipe testing.
Correct.
Do you have anything else, Alan?
I think that was it after I read the proposal, I'm just listening, I wanted to just make sure I was on the right page with that piece of it.
Any more questions for, these two before I conclude on that part?
Just let us know what else you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming here.
Yeah, I got one more real quick. Sorry. Will you guys be buying any other water districts or companies here in Harlan like Kaywood or Everett's Water? Or merging them together or anything?
We can't really say that there's, something on the books right now for that, as far as that goes, but, yeah, so, Coleman County and so forth, you know.
Well, I mean, cause like Everett's Waters, then you got B Mud Water above them and below them, so that's why I was asking.
Something that we're willing to look at.
It would definitely be worth looking at all costs.
Okay, I'll do it, thank you.
We get out of here so you guys can continue on with business.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That's the rich white folk.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any more other customer comments for us? All right, if I can get a, motion on approving, last month's minutes. All right, Troy?
I started on one with Paul, let's see where my day goes.
There you go.
when bad weather was coming. Like I said, this past, where I just did the report today, you had 400 regular hours, and I think it's 388 overtime hours. There was no, you paid more overtime than you did regular this past week, or it'll hit tomorrow, and Friday. So, you know, it's just still a matter of hanging on and paying and doing what we can. As you know, our county garbage that we collect, we made another payment on that, but here we are another month due now. So, we're holding right at 2 months, and trying our best to keep it that. Just going through, looking at the numbers, we ended January at $480,000 of outstanding debt. Of course, that does include, the majority of that is our garbage. Our garbage, that we do owe. We did pay $65,000 of that, so $65,000 of that was paid off first of February. So that number's not as bad as it sounds. It looks bad, and it is bad, but, you know, as we've talked about in the past, it's just a struggle to do what we need to be doing. We're sitting there with the money on the water loss surcharge and still waiting for the PSC to get us the okay to spend it again. And, you know, that would be a big help if the PSC would,
It's been submitted for a while.
it's like,
Yes.
I was told today that we should receive an answer on those soon. That was all I got was soon. So hopefully we get an answer.
hopefully they'll answer their next week, which is what, next week or something.
Yeah, hopefully. That's what I'm assuming. When they convene next week, we should get an answer on that, and the pass-through that we voted on last week, we should get both of those answers next week.
So, any questions? I know, you know, it's a lot of the same thing that we're looking at. You can see the new bills, or the unpaid bills through today, are there in the last couple of pages, to give you an idea of where we stand on all that.
Kobe, I got one.
Go for it, Brad.
I don't understand how to ask this, but like, should it be on you all, like, when the Harlan City water went out, I called it Watergate 2025. Austin gave out 8 cases or pallets of water that day. So should you guys be giving out water to Wallens and other places when the water goes out? Should that be on you guys or not? Like to provide like bottled water, gallons of water and stuff? Is that something you guys should provide or not?
Customers that were out, that contacted us, we would absolutely deliver them water.
Okay,
But we weren't gonna set up a public distribution location, because obviously unless we're gonna vet water bills and see if you're actually in that location. I think Austin did that out of kindness of his heart.
Mhm.
If you contacted us and it was a necessity, we would bring you water. If I had to do that on my own, yes.
that's the best answer you could have given me, sir.
You're welcome.
That's all I got for you.
Yes, sir, Mr.
So,
Radley.
why does it take them so long for y'all to access your funds from your reserves and surplus? Why would it take?
I wish I knew. I honestly,
I've heard that for a long time now, it takes so long to get your money.
we do the work, get the invoices, submit the invoices to them every month, and then we have to wait. And then they convene, they see what we send, they ask questions, we get data requests, we get 30 days to answer those, and then it just keep building 30 days and 30 days, and for someone to only once a month, and Ronnie's in here every day trying to send them this stuff and get this back, it's just, it's a matter of them getting together for their approval.
And it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that we can't lay hold on, that we desperately need.
Yeah, I think, the last,
How much? $244,000.
I'm sure you're asking for a better process to shorten that, especially the lead you all got.
They don't.
That's just, I mean, that's the.
They don't.
Well, from our understanding, it's not just us.
It's across the.
Yeah, it's well processed.
It's a public service commission.
everybody just got a search. And the problem is they can't submit it. They have to give it to the attorney, so you have to pay the attorney, and the attorney has to submit it.
Because the commission won't accept
They
it
won't
from
accept it from
us,
us.
it has to come from our legal counsel, which costs us more money.
So it's a real message.
It's a real bad system, yes, sir.
So is that something Dan can fix before he goes out of term or a long term?
That is
Or is that,
a public service commission, that'd be on.
Okay.
Before that's a state entity.
I just needed educated on that. Thank you.
I have a question. Well, maybe a very obvious question, but you're, I guess you're probably the most well-known numbers person in the county. I'll say that anyway, not throwing shade at anyone else. The proposal you heard tonight, that seemed like a good direction just from, you don't even have to say that you're representing the board in this situation or whatever.
I'll spit facts.
As a BMUD customer,
There we go.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
And
On Larry
if
Hoover.
you've been to the, our other meetings and we've discussed openly, through the finances and everything, been very open in our meetings about how financially strapped the BMUD is. You know, if we tried to bond $21 million, the state would laugh us out of having that. If we tried to bond $5 million, I doubt we could do that. So from a financial standpoint, what they have said, and I haven't seen any of the paperwork, I haven't seen any documents. I'm going on his word, what he said. It sounds very interesting and like it would be something that the board definitely needs to highly consider and probable, I'll make a move towards.
I felt the same way. You got the degree. So I would yield to your knowledge in that situation, so.
And he's gonna do it.
Yes, he's had a favorite thing.
And I like the fact that he said they will pass all of it.
Yes.
The one question that I would say the board would probably need to ask the DM of the PSC in their due diligence going forward would be that $255,000 that goes, you know, that's already the water law surcharges. How does that go towards any of this? You know, how will that be released?
Good question.
And everything, so I know, you know, they're talking about the due diligence of being 2 weeks or so, that's something we should probably bring up in the next meeting.
They'll be a bigger entity, they might be able to get more answers.
Those are probably conversations we'll have, we'll do executive session about after this, and we'll have those questions. And we'll have some list hopefully by then, that we can go there. But I'm sure we're gonna get that $22 million, I don't know. We've worked hard, I mean, I know this year, and it's the nobody's credit but Troy's, it's 90 days out. A lot less on there than there was the first time I was sitting in one of these meetings. So, it's credit to him that we got it in shape we do now.
BMUD's in desperation. I mean, financially,
Infrastructure
infrastructure-wise.
everything.
Yeah.
Ronnie's right.
It's hard to see how anybody could be against the process.
Right.
And just one of those quick numbers, one of the things that they said, so they're talking about the poverty level, that, was it 2.5 poverty level? So a family of 4, in this case, if that family of 4 and that residence wasn't making not bringing in $80,375 a year, they seem like they would qualify for that lower.
Yes,
correct.
So that's probably a good,
For
very good
county,
portion,
very beneficial.
a good portion of our
Yes.
customers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's gonna be
were jumping up and down when they said they paid property tax.
Absolutely, definitely did not hurt their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there seems like, I mean, and I don't wanna say that this all sounds like it's too good to be true, because I never like saying that in the world, but it does seem like it is, certainly something to focus on. Sort out, iron out all the wrinkles, I don't know if there are any, but I think it's a solution that checks a lot of boxes. Certainly starting with you all residents, being able to move forward, stabilization, property taxes, lower rates, and,
They bring a lot to the table.
yeah.
Spiritual gain.
With the increase in
Kyle.
everyone that's working there, right, the 401Ks, the retirements, I mean.
Well, the bottom line is the next thing that that goes is gonna be the health insurance for the employees.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta make cuts. If you can't pay it, you can't pay it. The BMUD can. So I
If you
mean,
don't work still, what's it gonna look like in 6 months?
they're broke.
So, that's right.
Shouldn't have 10 years ago.
Amen.
10 years ago.
On Larry Hoover, yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm like Gary, I take them to death, man, what they had.
Me too.
I'll take them, I like a kitty Chris.
I work diligently on that, guys, and I'm telling you, I promise.
Sean's
I've
the
been doing
man.
that a long time, and I wish we would have made a move 5 years ago when I was on the board. We should have made the move initially at that time, and we wouldn't be talking about this right now. They would have spent 21 million in those 5 years that I was wasted on the board trying to fight the battle, and you can't fight the battle when you can't pay the prices. You can't do it. You just can't do it.
You need to have water. Get some
And
water.
this is really the only solution for that quick capital investment, is through.
Absolutely. I loved hearing that they were reinvesting the actual top money, because we didn't know exactly where that money was gonna go. So I love the fact that they're actually reinvesting that back into the infrastructure over a course of 5 years. That's huge.
And I like the fact that it now it's in writing.
Yes.
We have it in writing, these guys had it, so in 5 years, we can say,
Where's that?
where's your $22 million that you promised us 5 years ago, here's your rate.
Yeah.
We can make sure we hold,
That's right.
hold them accountable for that, and that's what we will do.
And I'll say this not to be overly dramatic or drag this on, but when we took their people around to all of our sites, Colby was with some of them, I was with some of them, and I mean, I just point blank asked them multiple questions, and not to sound, like I say, overly dramatic, but, I mean, they were they were pretty tough on some of the things I asked them, but everything they said here was already said to us 3 months ago, and the tank sizes, the telemetry, the replacement of the lines, better pumps, the employees. I was told what was Justin, who is he? Operations supervisor for the state. I said, what about our employees? He said, if they pass the drug test and a background check, they're hired. He said, we need people in the water business.
Well, and they're saying,
Big
it's
facts.
so unfortunate because so many people have not been to the sites.
Right.
And until you've been to the sites, or you've been to the pump stations, you've been in the pump houses, you have no idea what they look like and how bad they really, really are. And when you're buying a pump and it's costing $15,000 to $20,000, and I don't know how many people knows that, but there are no backups. You got one pump.
And we're supposed to have 2 in each state.
Right.
Yeah, you got 2 sitting. You might have 2 sitting there, but only one's working, and that's the only one that's going to work. So when it goes down, and then it takes you, prime example, across the mountain, took us 2 or 3 weeks to get the pump because, I mean, we were going to drive and get the pump. That's how bad it was. You can't. There's certain pumps, and they're made to fit that certain piping. You know more about it probably than me, but the infrastructure's old. It's dilapidated. And there are no backups. The backups have already been utilized because the money was gone long ago.
And you all collectively, you were handed a piecemeal system, then another piecemeal system, and another piecemeal system. And sometimes the pump you need was 20, but the pump you could afford was 10. And you have to modify it to fit this, modify it.
I'll say,
We had a great system here, and then we went here with it, and then we went here with it, and then we went here with it, and then,
Correct.
There's good here, there's way out here, we're gonna have issues.
there's one particular pump station, I never will forget this. Kobe went in, and his guys went in it, and he said, he made his guys go back out. I never will forget that.
Yes.
It's
The only way to turn it on and off is to flip the main breaker on and off.
It never shuts down. I don't know, that's a.
If you were a business, if you were sinking, and you are, and you went to the bank and tried to borrow $22 million, they're gonna, first thing they'll say, what do you got for collateral? Troy's probably been telling you that all along, but you all know it. These guys is offering something that just don't exist. To invest $22 million up front, basically,
And
to overhaul the system, it's shocking.
come here in front of the community and not be willing to go in executive session and just tell these four guys that, they want to tell all of them.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the openness and transparency.
Me too.
Yes, I really do.
And also, I asked them, like, when we would have an incident like this, I asked Justin, the vice president of operations, I said, what happens in that instance? He said, you tell me what size equipment you need and how many men you need, and then within 2 hours, they'll be rolling from Lexington. And your men won't be working, we're on our 14th straight day, guys, around the clock. And so, they will have a crew of people that will be there to assist us. It's like the big brother, when the little brother gets in a fight.
Well, it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
you can pull this large,
That's the best way to think of it, when you think of investor on utilities, is utilities. Exactly what it is, it's the same. That's why it's not the big bad American Water coming in, you know, they've been here.
And when that's how I met Kobe last year. And the big break, James and I, Austin, Ronnie, we were all out, and that's how we met Kobe. Kobe brought his men up from Middlesboro.
And equipment.
And equipment.
Shout out Kobe.
So, and other, London, I don't know, we had done, Todd brought some of his men down from Kaywood. I mean, we couldn't have done it if we hadn't have had that.
And that's where these evaluations started, that's where I talked to Sean, I said, look, you need this much money, you've got to have it just to operate. Can you get it? He laughed at it. And I said, well, we need to start shopping this thing around. And,
Sign up on food stamps.
This is something we thought of this week last week. Yeah, this is something we've actually worked on. This $22 million isn't just, let's send $22 million down there and hope it works. This is a true capital plan for investments to go in specific locations, make specific improvements to the existing infrastructure that's used.
This is gonna be huge for the B-Mud customers, Craycraft, Vicky. I mean, because I used to call the slusher guy on top of Lake Trail when the tank got down. I'm like, man,
He's a pure
you call where you can't pump your water, you know, cut your pump off, I don't want it to burn up, it's under 40 feet, you know, so, you know, but that was like he said, I was going to the tank twice a day just to go look at where the volume was and the height, just so I could keep those folks from losing pumps.
We've spent as much time going from, during this whole mess, going from Daniels Mountain to Banner Ford. I feel like I know every bump in the road, every gravel that somebody dropped, I've walked over each one of them, and that's such a waste of manpower. But when you say, I need $250,000 SCADA system in Walmart, can you get it to me?
No.
So, I mean, at that point, we had to do something to refine that, and that's really what we tried to do, find somebody that's willing to make this investment, that sees the value in this system.
You got somebody, and we don't need it to take 8, 9, 10 months, we do all, do everything we can to speed it up and,
But we're also gonna do our due diligence, we're gonna make sure that this is the best offer.
Sure.
And this is the best for the employees, the community, and the customers, we're gonna make sure this is best for everyone. So before we let these guys make a decision, we will make sure our due diligence is on there.
One of my people that's watching said they remember in 2023, Harlan got a $5 million, got over $5 million for the Clean Water Act. Still the same skeletons and tires in the river. Is that you all or the city?
That was split up between
That $5
multiple.
million went to every.
Yeah, it went to every 7 different water sources.
Okay.
It was split up and.
Gotcha.
There was so much going on then, when Everett was having problems, Harlan was having, we all had problems. And that was just split amongst us all.
Sewer system.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
split amongst everybody, and that's another problem.
And you see $5 million, how quickly that disappeared when you spread it amongst all of them.
Mm-hmm.
BMO still needs the $22 million investment today, just to get it back up to where it was.
Out of that $5 billion, BMO got $800,000, everything had to be earmarked how it was spent. Troy will tell you, know, before you even got the $800,000, you had to turn paperwork that you were buying this much pipe, these fittings, this inventory. We bought a backhoe out of it, we bought a boring machine out of it. There was specifics on how it could be spent. They don't just give you $800,000 and say, oh, go spend it. That's not how it works, so.
They would got 265,000 of that, and we're just now spending it right now.
Yeah.
That was in 23, and the line's going in currently. That's what he's telling me. It sounds like it.
It's, I know people get excited when they hear these large numbers. These large numbers don't mean anything. And, you know, you have so much that goes into it. The engineer's sitting here, there's more planning than there is. I mean, it takes years. I mean, we've been on this sewer project now. We've been planning the sewer project for the last, I guess, 4 years. So, and yeah, now we're finally getting to start it, so.
Yeah, I got,
How long do you think it'd take if the new company took over to get water where we live at over there?
I'm still gonna tell you the same thing that I did.
He's gonna
We've
flip
got to
out.
invest in the customers that we have now. We cannot do any water line extensions.
I'm talking about the new company, if they take over.
Even the new company, that
So we're still not gonna get it?
22 million that they spoke of is investment in existing assets.
he's
That
gonna
has
rage
to go
leave.
back to what exists today at FEMA. That doesn't mean we're gonna take 22 million and run water lines out in,
I
on
understand
the
that.
county, so.
They gotta take care of those stuff too.
We
That's what
gotta take that 22 million and reinvest in the assets that we currently have. That's how far they are out of date, before we can ever, so after 5 years, come back and we'll totally look at it.
5 years. I've been messing with this over 12 years.
But where that's gonna,
But you're also talking to BMUs, you weren't talking to a larger company. We'll come back,
I understand that,
we'll
but-
we'll be able to revisit then.
and I think where that's gonna be beneficial though
5 years
too.
from now.
If they're spending the $21 million on the infrastructure and they're gonna tighten up the system, the water loss is gonna be so much less. Then you'll have the opportunity to extend and provide water to other entities that you can't do now when you're running 79% water loss. I mean, he's without water 50% of the time. And we know, you know, I know, Ronnie knows, I mean, it's just what it is. But when we get that water loss down and you can actually hold pressure and water in those pipes and fill your tanks, then you're gonna have hopefully plentiful water going out there, and then you could advance your water lines and produce what you need for your customers plus someone else.
And we don't know. We
don't know.
what it's like to have that kind of water.
We have no idea.
Nobody knows. It's never been to the 15% threshold the Public Service Commission wants it.
Never.
So we don't know where you can provide water. I don't know, Mr. Craig, if we fix it, you might have all kinds of pressure.
You might not
over there.
have
It'll
a pump.
I don't know, but, like I said, as of right now, the investments they're speaking of is locations that we went with them and they evaluated, and that's where they want to spend that money. That's where it's going, is what we have now.
And you feel that assessment was good, I mean, they know.
Continue the way that it goes. And then when it's not BMUD, then it drops to the county, and then the county can't handle it.
Yeah, we're,
I mean,
Does the
so,
county have $22 million
we
for
do
that?
not, sir.
Okay.
As you said, the water loss is different. Harlan, there's one of your suppliers, but the meter to rest haven down there, they meter you every month. You have to pay every month. If you lost 70% of that water, I mean, no business could survive as long as you all have with those kind of losses. It couldn't happen.
If you make 10 hamburgers and throw 7 in the trash,
That's it.
how can you make enough profit on 3 hamburgers you have left,
We
right?
robbed-
That's where we're at.
We robbed,
and only sell 3 of them.
Right,
we robbed Peter.
10 of them.
Oh,
We
word.
robbed Peter to pay Paul, and now Peter's broke.
yeah.
I've been the treasurer,
Empire.
in April will be my 6th year. And the same things we're talking about today was the same things that was talked about in the April meeting 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
With the same, how are we gonna do it? And the funds in 6 years has been the same.
It's still.
Yeah. You know, we were in a hole when I took over, we come up, got some things paid off. Last year came with all the breaks and everything, we're back in that hole. It's what it is. And will we ever be able to do anything other than that? And in my opinion, no.
I'll tell you this from experience, and it's happened every year I've been on this board. We just went through the freeze. March and April, you're going through the thaw.
Yep.
All right, Kobe? So, it's not over, you're fixing to have it again. So,
See if you can work out something with them too, to include maybe a steak dinner for all present and past board members, because they certainly deserve at least that. We can go back 10 years, however many years we can go back, because you get cussed out at the dollar store, you get cussed out at Food City, and you get the phone calls at 3 in the morning and the text.
We don't go to
All
Walmart
of
no
it.
more.
I know about all that stuff.
Don't worry about that.
Go ahead on
I'll
that.
do the states out of my own
Perfect.
pocket.
I'll throw dollars
I
at
mean,
that.
really,
It's not an easy job.
everybody talks about 22 million. 22 million in this type of business is not a lot of money.
No.
I mean, that will be gone.
That's what I'm saying, Mr. That's not money to extend, that money
No.
can be reinvested quickly, it'll be gone. 5 years, it probably won't take 5 years to reinvest.
No. I mean, when you're talking $25,000 pump or $50,000 pump.
Limited status, oh my God, I mean, that's.
$3.5 million.
Yes.
Cost either $3,000 to $5,000 with the labor,
Easy.
supplies, and parts.
And how many we do this last week?
Since Thursday morning last week, between customer leaks, busted meters, and leaks on our side, 57 that we fixed since Thursday morning,
There you go.
57.
That's. I can't. Wow, right?
I'm also over in Lewisboro, which is an investor on utility, has been. It's full.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to, I hate to make comparisons, I mean, I have a son, Mr. Frank, young daughter that's been in Danville, in college for 4 years. They never once called me and said, hey, water, I can't wash my clothes today, I can't wash my clothes today, I can't, anything.
And
It's been with water.
people of Harlan serve. They do.
They, oh, by far. I mean, you know, Cumberland, I'll say our mayor up there and his team has been as proactive as anybody in the water system in the county. And we still have probably, and you'll just get mad if I tell you that on a yearly basis, we have about 3 days that we may have an issue, because you're like, I have that on a week sometimes, right? And so I get that, I don't need to, it's not going to shade anybody, you know, a 2026
Free?
Ford Bronco is gonna run a little more efficient than a 76 Ford Bronco, right? I mean, it is what it is,
That's not been serviced.
I say, you can only do is with what you got.
Mhm.
I would so love that we never have another discussion about a water outage in this county.
Amen.
I mean, let's go on to things that, if you're constantly dealing with a water system or a water situation.
Talk about
in your
the rec
house,
center or
in the
something.
neighborhood, in the community, you can't get beyond that. I mean, does not have any power in that community or in that area, right? You can't get beyond that. Yeah, you can't grow, you can't think past, I didn't flush my toilet today. That's just facts. So we've got to sort that out.
You have to carry that water to do that in your
On
own.
top of that.
On top of it, it's really hard.
I've done some not fun things to make sure I had enough water, yes, and I've done it a lot less times than you,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So we better hope, pray that these folks are interested in inquiring, then we don't lose interest.
Yeah, right, watch this video, huh?
Click.
They will not lose interest.
They don't do
You have
that.
no worries about that, this is the business they are in. It's growing their customer base, that way they can keep their rates cheap for all the customers. And that's something else that I'll work diligently as we all become employees, is continuing to show them the same things that we show the people of B money. You know, the investment they're willing to make in the